I'd like to welcome now David Morgan, and he is one of the Tutorial YY instructors. Thank you for joining me. I know that you did talk Monday on a topic, recognizing and addressing big data problems. So let's talk about that.
Okay, the basic concept behind the tutorial was that as technology has increased what we can do, we do more of it. We collect more data, we sample more finely, we end up with bigger and bigger sets of information, bigger and bigger sets of output, and most of us do the same thing we've always done. We don't, because our data are changing, we're not necessarily adapting to those changes. And the best example I can come up with, I come out of structural biology, that's my background. So I know more about the biological scientific community than a lot of people here at MRS. But the bioinformatics field exploded in terms of the amount of data that they could collect and what they could do with it. And they choked, basically. Okay. They got to the point where laboratories couldn't repeat their own results. You know, 6 months later, things would have changed enough that they had trouble repeating analyses they'd done. And when you can't repeat your own results, it's very hard to compare your results to somebody else's results.
I know that your main topic also was these alternative approaches. What are some of these examples?
Right, and so what I have been thinking about, I run an electron microscopy facility these days, and I have been thinking about ways to help the people I serve deal with these big data issues. And so I'm working with the Pervasive Technology Institute at Indiana University, which is a fancy name for their campus computing center people. Right. And we're building a system that automatically archives image data permanently in a way that is searchable by anybody. You can download the data then. We're also building in data analysis steps into what is effectively just a web browser, where the data is automatically shunted into this system, stored there, searchable, analyzable, and it's something that a lot of people are having to deal with, but they're not doing it on a grand scale yet. And
is that part of the data management technique as Python?
It could be done using Python.
Okay.
We're not doing it. What Peter Wang, who was the other, whatever you want to call us, the other tutor in the tutorial, Peter talked about using Python to do a lot of different things. And so there's a project right now where they're going to try and drive microscopes using Python. Peter was talking really about the data analysis step, but he would tell you that the great thing about Python is you can do anything with it.
Sounds like access is the biggest challenge.
And just the sheer amount of storage. Someone was talking yesterday about a particular microscope that is going to be generating on the order of all of the information content that Europe generates in a year. They do 10% of that in a year. And if suddenly we've got 10 of those microscopes, you know, information is just exploding. And so storing it in an accessible way, doing things with it. You know, it's easy to look at one or two images and do an analysis, but when you've got 200,000 of them, you have to automate it somehow. There are no longer enough graduate students and enough hours in the day to do things that we would like to be able to do.
There's not enough hours in the day, correct. David Morgan, thank you. And I want to make a note that the tutorial is being recorded, it was recorded, and it will be available via MRS On Demand in mid-May. Thank you so much.
That's correct.
All right, thank you.
You're very welcome.